Diego Cortez.
Adam Schoenfeld.
Welcome to The Scoop, brought to you by Full Tilt Poker. We had David Baker with us last week, talking about Deuce to 7 and how he's terrorized
Mixed games.
Deuce to 7 world with his new strategies
right.
and mixed games. We're going to talk about the 50K where he went in as chip leader and could have won if things had gotten better for him. If you missed part 1, it's on Card Player TV, and we'll just roll into part 2.
So you think there probably are a lot of people who have not taken advantage of coaching who might be potential winners but just are not opening themselves up to that?
Definitely. I mean, they probably do a lot of right things, but they just don't, they don't think about the game from like a theory perspective. They don't think, they know what to do, but they don't know why they do it. And once you start to understand why you do things, you can start to develop new strategies and more player-specific strategies and really take your game to the next level.
Did she give you more tools specifically to use, or did she analyze your game and break down things that were leaks or things that were working, or kind of what's the structure of that? Because a lot of people might not even understand what makes for a productive 20 hours, which obviously had a big impact on you.
Well, she basically, I would play and she would watch and she would point out the things that I was doing wrong. And then the great thing about her is she is just pure theory, and anytime that I would get in a spot, she would tell me, okay, this is what you should do at the top of your range and the bottom of your range, and you should do this sometimes with these hands. And, right now you have the nuts, but if you had a bluff, you might want to do just different, different things she fixed. The first thing I remember, she coached me in a session, and I was playing 6-max cash because I was trying to learn how to beat cash, and I was clicking auto fold when I had the button, and that was the first thing she saw. And she says, "What? Don't click that auto fold when you're on the button. Someone might raise, it's your button, man. You can't click auto fold." So that was the first really bad habit that she got me out of. She's like, you have the button, you might want to, you're going to re-raise there, it's your button. And so yeah, we'd go through and then we'd look at hands, and we didn't do too much of the post game analysis because that was something that I was doing, and when I didn't want to look over hands, I wanted to play a bunch and see what she was doing in game. So that's what we did. But I know that she does some different things for other students. But yeah, just
what you just described is funny and reflects some of her incredible intensity and her amazing intelligence, which just radiates off her. Did you find that intimidating at all? Not that you're not also very smart, but she could be pretty intense. Was that a natural fit for you?
Yeah, I think so, especially when it comes to poker, because I do kind of I want the information to be beaten into me. I don't need to be coddled or anything. I want,
She doesn't seem like a coddler.
No, not at all. And I didn't really know anything about her before I didn't know anything about her really, and it was weird that it was a woman. I didn't expect that. I didn't expect that my first poker coach would be a woman. I mean, it sounds kind of bad, but I'd only played with.
There are many fewer women who are players.
And I didn't expect that one would be the sick one that was going to make me a great player. But it is a great fit because I want the information to be beaten into me. I can process a lot of information, and I want everything she has in that hour and just throw it at me and let me sort it out later.
I remember a quote, and this was from the ESPN broadcast, and then we tasked our research department with finding it, and we didn't find the quote, but I do remember it. And if I imagined it, then we'll just edit it out. No, we won't. But where it said that you self-proclaimed that you will be the best player in the world. And I don't know if there was a time limit where you said within
5 years, I think I said. The best all-around is what I'd like to say, that I could be the best at all the games. I don't think that, I think I could never be the best in one game anymore the way I'm going. It's too, you can't be the best in one game without putting your heart, soul, and life into that one game. But I can still be the best all-around poker player.
I mean, it's a point that we talk about a lot offline, which is that there's so many specialists now that when you jump into games, if you're in a lineup which is just specialists who spend all their time talking and playing that game, you're really at such a disadvantage. But if you're looking for weak spots just in mixed games or jumping into games, then it's a whole different story.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it makes it really fun for me now, because now I just game select and I can just look at, every single tab at every single cash game and just look at the stakes that I want, and if there's a good game, I can play on it, and that's what has always motivated me.
When you say that you want to be the best, can you give me some definition of win the most at all-around games? Just feel like you have the best.
That'd be there. Maybe the most bracelets in mixed games. That might not be possible, but just for me to know that I would not, I guess, to not be a dog in almost like any lineup, sort of. Like you said with the specialists, I might not ever be able to beat that game, but
if you can play the highest games in the world and be a favorite, then by definition you've pretty much achieved your goal. I mean, that's where Phil Ivey can come into Bobby's room or sit in the huge mixed games that they have on Full Tilt now, and he's the favorite. Doesn't matter who else is playing, doesn't matter what the mix of games is, he's going to be the favorite. In essence, what you're saying is by acclamation you can be the best player just because people know it.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I thought 5 or 10 years ago, I thought there can never be a greatest player, because there may be a greatest cash player, but there'll be a different greatest tournament player. There may be a greatest player in one game, but not in another game, or maybe in shorthanded or heads up, but not in ring games. And then somehow Phil Ivey managed to come on the scene, and he really did something that I thought was not possible. So it's certainly possible for someone to just have a breadth of games that they master, and as you say, maybe not be a super specialist in one game. There are guys that are heads up, no limit players, and you're just not going to beat them. That's all they do.
So Phil does.
Yeah.
Right.
The Phil stuff is really out of control. It's like some alien or like.
I like that you said that, and I think that you don't come across as arrogant to me when you say that. So I respect what you mean, but if it means like supplanting Phil Ivey, that's something.
That is something.
That's
a good goal to have.
Exactly. I don't know if I could do that. He's so ahead of the curve, and he has the money pressure too. Like, even if I let's say I wanted to like make a run for the throne or do something cocky like that, like it might take 2 lifetimes to make all the money that he has before, like, dude, I'll run you in the ground. You can't play my stakes. You can't be the best. So it's so nuts. Like, if you look at his stats on Full Tilt, he's played like a quarter of the hands that he's like the biggest winner. But he's played, a half or a quarter. I don't remember what.
But eras pass, and I mean, Tiger Woods was without question the greatest player in the world.
Right, it was inconceivable.
He has an injury, and people make big deal about personal stuff, but he had an injury, and then other people emerge. So every generation can take it further. I don't know how motivated it is. The fact that you have that goal, I think, is a great goal, because what you're representing is that you're really working towards that goal. I mean, I also read that this obsession with the mixed games, you've like sat down to really learn each game. It's not just, I'm a great player, I'm just going to jump in and win. Kind of what's been your approach? You talked about coaching with Vanessa, but in the mixed games and the limit games, how have you been educated?
Well, there it was kind of it was different from when I started to learn No Limit. It was like there are a lot of resources, and I had to pick one and just hope that I got the best one, or like look at a few. For the mixed games, there aren't very many, so it was more like grab everything you can and see which ones are good and which ones are bad. I went to this gambling bookstore that's out here somewhere, and I
was there every day. Believe it or not.
It's moved. Yeah, that was one of my.
Yeah, so they had I think one bookshelf with all the mixed games, and I just grabbed the best 3 books on everything. Wow. And I also watched some videos, and I've been coached a little bit in stud by one of my buddies, and then just trying to play as much as I could.
Thanks for joining us on The Scoop, brought to you by Full Tilt Poker, and we've had David Baker for 2 episodes, and has he earned a 3rd episode in your
Well, there are many mixed games, so we can talk about some of the other games now.
Certainly, with his accomplishments this year, he's earned
I will grant it.
So we'll see you next week.